two things investors look for. First, you look for talent and quality of management teams. So you're looking for people that have either a track record of maybe building or have an experience of building a business. And if they don't have that, what they have is a real flair and energy for the second point, which is a passion for what they're doing. So you're looking for like a high quality management team first, who have the talents and the abilities to build something, and then coupled to that, I think as an investor, you're looking for people who are really passionate about their project, because building things is tough. So if it's tough, what that means is you need people who are going to keep going when it gets tough. And investors, kind of the way we look at it is that if you have passion for a project, there's a pretty good probability you'll keep going when it gets tough. So that passion and energy for what you're doing and why you're doing it, and the motivation that sits behind that, I think is a really important thing that investors look for when we're discovering what projects we're going to invest in and what we're going to say no to. Over the last probably 2 or 3 years, what you're seeing is the beginnings of what I would describe as an angel investment scene, which is what that really is people who are willing to invest in local businesses in Wales, local entrepreneurs who are basing themselves in Wales to get them started. The angel investment ecosystem is really important, because if you don't have people who are willing to back very early stage companies, then of course by definition great ideas don't get out the blocks. So you're starting to see, I think, an angel investment scene evolve, although I would have to say, if you compare it to places in the north, Scotland, London, Ireland, Wales is behind. So another reason why we need to get on with this, the investment portal, and another reason why we need to get, as a Welsh, I think, community of business people and investors, get really focused on it, is that without that energy to kickstart the start of the ecosystem, if you like, then it won't quite get going. So I feel positive about that. The second most important thing I'd say is, over the last probably year and a half, I've met lots of entrepreneurs in Cardiff predominantly, but also Swansea. And what's interesting is there's great talent. There's absolutely no difference in the level of talent in Wales than you'll find in any other part of sort of Western Europe in terms of the quality of people. So it's not about the people, it's just about the opportunity. So the really important thing the Welsh diaspora can do is connect those people to an opportunity, which is investment, to help them to grow their idea. And if we get that bit done, then actually Wales will see, I think, in the next 5-10 years, a real acceleration in that early stage business community. The most important thing, right, when you're starting a company is having smart money. And what does that mean? That means you have people who have the money, because you need the money, let's be blunt. So there's no getting away from that. But all you need is people who've either done it before, invested before, know the pitfalls and can advise those entrepreneurs about things to watch out for. Most importantly, can advise them on who to go and speak to help them grow their business when they want to raise the next round of money. Because people that are smart money have not just connections at the early stage, but also will probably have gone through the stage of company growth, so they can raise money from different sources of investors at different stages, because you'll need different investors at different points in your company. At some point, you might need a pension fund if you're going public, for example. So you need that kind of, I would describe it as smart advice. So that's what the diaspora can bring. I think the other thing it can bring is this, which is for the diaspora community themselves, what they get the opportunity to give back here, right? I think all of us who are Welsh or are connected to Wales have a very proud sense of that. And this is a smart way, not to give back just because you want to maybe give back and make a donation, but a smart way to give back, because what you're giving back isn't just money, is actually probably hopefully going to be a profitable return on that money. But also what it gives back is your experience and knowledge back to a next generation of entrepreneurs who can take that knowledge and do it better than maybe we all did, and then do the same thing again. And I think by creating that almost revolving circle of talent, it just gets bigger and better over time. So I think that's the purpose of it, in my mind. In reality, Wales has had them. They've just not been in Wales, right? I mean, if I moved to London when I was 18, 19 and didn't move back, even though all my family still are in Wales, everybody, and I just came back every 4 or 6 weeks. If you look at other businesses like Go Compare, you know, they are Welsh by definition and stayed in Wales. So there's no reason why Wales, I would be really depressed in 5 years' time if there isn't at least 1 or 2 more stories like that. Maybe FTSE 100 companies, FTSE 50 companies. Maybe that's a journey that you have 1 or 2 in 5 years and 3 or 4 and 5 in 10 years. That's the journey that we all need to go on. And that's the journey, I think, where all of us, including the Welsh government, has a role to play in order to create that ecosystem. Because once you have the one, it's like Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is not an accident. Silicon Valley happened because you have many companies going through different stages of company life cycle, most importantly exits, because once you have big exits, you then create investor wealth and at an entrepreneurial level who tend then to reinvest. So what we need in Wales is a few big exits as well as these startups. So a few companies come through, have some really big successful outcomes, which I suggest then what would happen is those entrepreneurs who have those outcomes will then reinvest back into the ecosystem. And then all of a sudden what you have is that returning circle that I spoke about. So that's the key.